Yeah, Prof here. Oh, I still got the headphones on. If you guys want to see a video on these, check out the previous video we uploaded on the Beyerdynamic DT770 Pro X. That's the 100th year anniversary limited edition model from them that uses their Stellar 45. So it's their newer updated driver, but they put it in the classic, nice velour big ear cups, um, rather than their newer modern design. What do we got here then? I kind of hinted at it at the last video. No, it's not these. It's not this. It is this. Yeah, we don't have a budget for sound effects on it. I am the sound effect. HHKB Pro stamped full key top set Sakura. You figure out what that is. I've been wanting these to be on my keyboard for 3+ days now. Here is, if you guys have seen my hybrid, my Happy Hacking Keyboard Pro hybrid, and then I have for work I have a hybrid Type S. Those have key sets on them. They have ones from Dami Key, one of the very, very, very few brands, at least outside of Japan and maybe Korea, that makes Topre key sets. I bought the 2 sets I like from there. There's a retro set that's on my Type S for work. And there is, I think I've done videos on these, and there's a black and green set. Those are on my my keyboard Chrome. Well, shortly after I got those and I started using them, Topre, or everything is Topre, it would be Happy Hacking Keyboard US released the Snow in the US. This is actually my second one because my first one had misaligned legends on it, annoyingly. They swapped it out one day, next day shipping once it got approved. Well, it was a little tricky. I'm going to say it took them like a day or 2 to get it approved because it is a limited edition keyboard. But they had one on hand and next day shipped it and included next day shipping back to them in there. So what ended up happening is the normal Happy Hacking keyboard kind of became my secondary. I used the one at work a lot, but this became my main. Well, something that I've regretted for many, many, many years is selling my Real Force keycaps. And you're like, Real Force keycaps? Yep. Top Real Force did make a run of keycaps. I think they might have made 2 runs in Japan. Either way, you might have seen like small accent keys on some of my keyboards before I did the Domi key sets, as well as like often you'll see Red Escape and Lavender Enter would be classic. That is classic Happy Hacking keyboard right there. Another classic Type S is Red Control Key, and it's there's like a sort of, I don't even think it's lavender. It's like a light blue. I don't remember if that's Escape or another key. Might actually be Function on this side. But there's some of that, and for a while there, they actually had not they didn't fit a Happy Hacking keyboard. You could slap them on there, but they didn't technically fit because they were the wrong layout. They had all these different colored sets. I actually owned my favorite one, and I still wish I hadn't sold today, but I ended up making more selling them after using them for years because they were a very limited run. By selling them, I sold them for more than I bought them for. And that was the Cherry Blossom Pink. Cherry Blossom Pink. Gorgeous set of keycaps. I also had the Lime Green. Surprise, surprise. You're like, you bought a Dami key set in that green color. Yes, I did. Because I liked it. In this case, what is here? Pro stamped full key set, top set Sakura. Sakura. Yes. Happy Hacking Keyboard Professional. Limited run for Valentine's this year of the 2024. Is not a Real Force keycap set because that's not really what's popular. At least US wise. I would say that just in general, the Happy Hacking keyboard brand is more popular than the the Real Force brand. I think a lot of the Real Force stuff is spun down. Maybe not completely, but and Happy Hacking Keyboard has its own brand, its own website in the US, sold through Fujitsu. We got the little key thing here. We got the they call that the Classic. That's actually, generally speaking, the Type S. Then the hybrid is going to be the Black, and then they have the Snow as the hybrid Type S. My Snow is the second generation because the first generation was not sold in the US. You can tell that by there are still markings on the chassis. It also has the Mac style keycaps, whereas the OG from Japan, that was Japan only, that I should have freaking ordered, they're worth stinking amounts of money that have literally no branding on it whatsoever. I actually have a buddy that has one. I could have. And they have blank keys. That's the other thing, is that would have definitely been a keyboard to collect. I touch type, but holy hell do I not know. I shouldn't say I don't know them. I'm not always as proficient at the symbol keys and the punctuation and stuff like that as I should be. So this is how to pull off a keycap. Oh, keycap remover. It looks like it comes with one. And they're telling you how to use it. A, B, C, D for key heights. And they're saying there's a spring thing in the space bar. I already know that. I have taken apart very many Happy Hacking keyboards in the day. But a nice manual. Japanese first. Who's not surprised? Me. Then in here, to our valued Happy Hacker. Let's see what's in here. I have the literal letter opener. And I forget how many sets there were of these, but I almost missed it. Like I want to say they said, like when I ordered it, it was like, oh, 20 sets are left or something. So I had to get in on it. So in here, we've got, let's zoom on in. Zoom on in. There you go. We're very happy to introduce limited edition Sakura. Oh, it's a Sakura print key set. Hell yeah. Historic release that brings happy in a new chapter. We do thank enthusiasts participate in culture. You inspire us to constantly evolve and grow. Never come to life without that. And then they give you a sticker. That's the, I think that's the Snow keyboard with the Happy Hacking. And I knew I would put it on my Snow because this one also has the Gen 2 Snow also has the Mac style Legends. A lot of people hate the Mac style Legends. I'm not gonna say I like them, but I know what Mac was doing when they did it. You know, because it's this sans serif font. Serifs are little squigglies on the fonts at the end, like the T going whoosh, stuff like that. With the lowercase off to the side ones there. So this is basically like Mac. I mean, I'm pretty sure the font's like bang on. You can see my A key got a bit grubby. And people are like, oh, that's because you're gaming so hard. Nope, that's because that's where my pinky is. And if you look at where my pinky is on my Razer Tartarus Pro, which is actually what I game on, that is where my pinky sits, is the most dirty key on the keyboard. I don't know. I think it's because I sit like this and all my sweat drips down that finger or some shit. We do not need the key puller. I'm leaving it in here because I have my techkeys.us. I don't even know if they exist anymore. I don't know. This is just the one I always use all the time. I used to have like a whole collection of key pullers because those wire key pullers used to be rare. Wire key pullers rare? Yeah. Those were, I don't want to say invented or designed, basically, so that you wouldn't wreck your keycaps when pulling them. So there are and I want to say the color of the camera is messing up. But they are the Sakura pink. These are the Sakura pink I remember. On the old ones, they didn't have the Mac layout. They had the the standard Real Force lettering. So technically, it didn't fit. Like, I think you'd have to pull a key from a different spot to get this right shift, as well as the function. So that was a bit wonky. Oh, I think they had control and stepped control, or something like that. Like they had control and caps, so that was swappable on those. Hey, Paisy Pays, you can't eat that. That's my box for my keycap set. So these are actually designed for the Happy Hacking keyboard, where, at least to my knowledge previously, all the name brand Real Force sets were... Hey! No. All the name brand Real Force sets prior to this were Real Force, not... Or they were Topre Real Force keycap sets rather than Happy Hacking keyboard keycap sets. They would fit, because they fit. But they were not designed for it. So the game normally I would play is the keyboard alphabet game, which that is disgusting. I think we're actually going to pull off all the keys. Paisy Pays. If you guys heard that, that was Paisley. She's down here making Paisley noises. So yeah, my keyboard is pretty discussed. Get in. Hey. But yeah, what you always want to do is pull off at least the Alts on the right and left side. If you have a Mac keyboard, obviously it's going to be slightly different. Those are command keys, I want to say. I might be wrong. I'm bad at Mac. Hey, you're literally stealing my box. You don't need to do that. It's my box. Hey. No. What I was trying to say, though, is you pull the Alts, and then you can pull on both sides. Kitten! Hey! Yeah. If you pull the Alts off, you can get your fingers in on either side and pry up on the spacebar, releasing it. Look at that. That is Paisley fur. Guaranteed that is Paisley fur. Hey! Hey. Yeah, that's my box. I'm sorry I touched your tail and almost stepped on you. You're literally in my wheels of my chair. Get in. I'm soft. Kitten will murder cardboard boxes. Not as bad as Hippiotech's cat, but nearly. Nearly, if you let her. But yeah, so if they were to bring back, or if they did, they brought back a key set, I'm happy. Oh god. Great. What I was trying to say is I'm happy that this is the key set that they brought back, because this is the key set that I wanted. And I wish I had not. The green one, whatever. Also, I could get that one from Dami Key. But this Cherry Blossom Pink is just a really nice color. Now, in this case, the one thing they did do, and I can see why a lot of people chose, because a lot of people do not like the Mac colors, or not colors, the Mac Legends, like the thinner font that's centered. They'd rather have the off-centered, thicker font. That's on the, like the standard Real Force Happy Hacking keyboard ones. The other thing is a lot of people, if we look here, that text on the pink keycaps is also pink. A lot of people is like, yeah, it's too much pink. I will admit that I kind of agree there. Like I said, I still want Legends on my keyboard. Not that I use them all that often, but it's like, do you always know which key, like, the freaking ampersand is? Like, no. Sometimes, or it's like, oh, you gotta put... Often it's just for passwords, because, like, you don't, like, type a password. You, like, input a password. And, often you're not looking at it or something, especially if you're typing a... Like, I have to type in a lot of passwords that, I don't know them in my head, sort of thing, you know? You're like, oh, why don't you just, like, copy and paste them from a password manager? Yep, sometimes that's not an option. Okay, so realistically, it's the freaking spacebar that's the disgusting area so far. Yeah, the Happy Hacking keyboard layout has heavily, and I mean heavily, influenced the layouts that I have designed over the years. I kept trying for many years until, I want to say, until I went back to the Happy Hacking keyboard again. I made a video for you guys, actually, when I bought it using Amazon. From you guys buying things in my links in the description, I finally rebought myself a Happy Hacking keyboard because I previously sold off to a close friend. He's still using it as his main programming keyboard. All these years later, like, we're over 10 years. See, guys, so, like, you watch all these videos, all these people making all these custom keyboards. Any mechanical keyboard worth its salt is gonna last you, like, longer than you want it to. They're kind of like monitors. Like, you're gonna want a new mechanical keyboard before, like, you need a new mechanical keyboard. Like, we're talking, I have working ones from the 80s that we've scavenged parts off for other things. In this case, I have a friend who still uses a Happy Hacking keyboard daily that I bought in, like, 08. I want to say maybe 09. And Happy Hacking keyboards are known for that over time the domes do harden a little bit. People found that a lot of the early Pro 2s, even older than mine, and a lot of the original just Pros are like a bit crunchy. But they don't by any means not work. They're just, you know, it's been 10 years. And that is also why on the new one, the hybrid, they put AA batteries in here. And it's actually a thing that somebody in one of my Discords was bringing up when they were looking for a new keyboard. They're like, I don't want a lithium internal battery because when it dies, I'm not going to be able to replace it. Now, I did link to Keychron showing how to, like, they actually have an article on how to replace the battery, and they sell batteries for their keyboards. Or at least some of them. I don't know about all of them. So that's not as bad, but yeah, that exact sort of thing is why the new Happy Hacking keyboard hybrid was made still just like the older, like the Pro 2 and the Pro 2 wasn't wireless. They had like a wireless version of Pro 2. Why they stuck with AA batteries is because, like, this keyboard is going to outlast any sort of internal battery they could have put in here. So then you might as well put, and I want to say I get 6 months at least on a pair of AA's, if not more. Depends on the AA's. Depends what if you take one off your remote from being X amount of age. But it doesn't have backlighting, so it really doesn't need much juice there, you know. Oh, and if you guys are running stabilizers on Topre are a bit weird. They don't really have them. I mean, they do on the spacebar, right? But the other keys just have a bigger box around them. So that's. I wasn't planning on removing every key on this keyboard. Well, I mean, I would have to swap keycaps. I know that. What I mean is, like, I was gonna do them one by one and just boop 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 boop, you know, so I could put the keys back in there. But you'll see shortly. This keyboard needs a clean, like bad. With cherry keyboards, you can often go pop 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 pop, like do minimum 2, if not even up to 4 keys. But because the Topre, how it snaps in, like see it's like pinched in there, you need much more force. So I would say if it's a cherry keycap set that this is your first time taking it off after putting it on for the first time, it's probably going to take this much force or more. Be really careful with cherry, because you can yank the stem out on cherry switches if the keycap has been really kind of like press fit on there. And it's not uncommon with aftermarket keycaps to have that happen, just because they're really tight when they're new. For those wondering what I meant by keyboard alphabet, that is swapping keycaps without you know, like putting it on like QWERTY or what, you know, basically knowing the QWERTY layout without having to reference anything. That's the keyboard alphabet. We always used to play that when, you know, you'd build a keyboard or you modify a keyboard. You'd have to pull the keycaps off. Well, the game is then, can you put all the keycaps back on without having to reference something? You might be like, what do I reference? Yeah, often another keyboard. Like your laptop if you don't have another physical keyboard, because not everybody has multiple desktop keyboards. Or you could reference something like this, which is from Keycap back in the day. A nice thick laminated. These were for the SP key sets, Signature Plastics. So it kind of had all the common and the different key sets. The Sangan kit right there. That's basically for the older wing keyless keyboards, and why it was called that was because he was the one that came up with cases. If I recall, he came up with cases for the Phantom that you could make wing keyless, essentially, but using the Philco. You could use the Phantom PCB. I mean, at that point, you've basically built a brand new computer. Or not computer, keyboard. Yeah, that's where that comes from. So you might use something like that, if you have it. But yeah, the whole point of the keyboard alphabet is that you're familiar with the keyboard layout, so you can put it back together without having to look. Now, I cheated, obviously, because I wanted to keep them organized, because they need to go back in there. First keycap is on, and what a lot of people do, especially if you have a blank now, and like the blank pink key set, is you can mix and match. You can even mix and match these if you wanted. I'm just going all pink, because it's a vibe. Yeah, if you're running back in the day, that's how a lot of people did these keyboards, because Cherry would sell like, I want to say it's like a G80 something, and then they'd have a G80 same number but with a W, and that meant white, and the B at the end meant black. And what that you do, even with because a lot of even rubber dome keyboards back in the day were you could take keycaps off of them. You'd buy both of them, and if you're running, I don't know, back in the day, if you see any classic, like a lot of classic keyboard mod keyboards will only have black and white, and you're like, well, why? Well, that's all we had back in the day. You know, back in the day, or you'll see a lot of checkerboard keyboards as well, because people would basically just take two keyboards and swap the, you know, like swap keys around, making a checkerboard pattern. So, top right, you definitely get a positive, you know, like when you've put the key on. Cherry, you kind of put them on and you kind of go back through and you push them down real good. Yeah, I think the original Cherry Blossom Pink key sets look better, because the die sub on the Real Force PBT caps is just so freaking good. It's so bold, so deep. But like I said, I'm happy to at least have some pink keycaps back. I think, especially for the Valentine's vibe that they were selling them for, the pink on pink is a vibe. You know, is it my perfect vibe? No. Do I kind of like that they went with the Mac layout keys? Yep, because I was going to put it on my Snow. But if you weren't going to put it on your Snow, I can see why, you know, you might not have liked the thinner, you know, I don't know if it's necessarily Helvetica, which is what Apple would have used. That just reminds me of Helvetica Standard. You know what that's from? Throw it down into the comment section down below. Oop, almost put that key on back of my words. I would also not recommend, if this was a Cherry keyboard, doing this the way I am, where I'm just doing it from one side to the other. For Topre, it literally doesn't matter, because there are, like, minus the spacebar, which if you notice I did first, there are no stabilizers. If you're doing like a Cherry keyboard where you have stabilized keys, to be truthful, I've even tried to design, or most of the keyboards I buy, try to avoid stabilized keys, because that can be some of the trickiest part of, you know, trying to make it silent. If you're trying to make it sound good, stabilizers can be part of the worst part. So if you can kind of get away with not having them, having a smaller enter key, maybe a split space bar, you can kind of get away with not having them, especially on the 60% layouts. Yeah, I can do this. Whereas if you had stabilized keys, you want to put all those on first, because the moment you start putting keys around the stabilized keys, it is going to become a cajillion times harder to deal with them. Alright. Last row. I think we're looking pretty good. Okay. Take a picture and share on the Twitters. You're like, Twitter doesn't exist. To me it does. To me Twitter still exists. Can't let Elon ruin everything, right? Alright, now he's ruining Tesla. Firing everybody and stopping, getting rid of the supercharger team and yada yada yada. I think it's funny he not open sources the connector, but like makes the connector available to other companies and stops development of superchargers. Teehee. Teehee. Such a meme lord. Well, there we go. Let me know what you guys think. I'll admit, I kind of said pink on pink wasn't going to be great, and I don't necessarily like it. But once it's on the keyboard with the white outline, I'm kind of digging it. Kind of digging it. Let's pull you guys off. Here. Are you guys digging that? Like, I don't know. It's a vibe. But finally got my, and I don't want to say these weren't called Cherry Blossom Pink, but the box says Sakura, which is, I don't know if it's necessarily Cherry Blossom, like the direct translation, but it's effectively the same color. I'd have to have like an old school set right next to these that are not. PBT shouldn't get affected by UV all that much, especially when coated. But you know, like have a set that's been like, you know, decently taken care of next to these to see. But it is a really nice color. You know, like I said, I think with, especially once you get the white keyboard around it, that pink lettering is less noticeable. Maybe because it's out of the brown. Like, look how much cleaner these brown, or not brown, the keycaps with the like dark gray lettering on the white keycap looks on the brown. That looked almost it looks much lighter when it was on the white keyboard, if that makes sense. And it's all about like contrast and perception and that sort of stuff. And that's why it looks different when it's on the keyboard. And I think these keycaps look much better once they're finally on a keyboard. And I'm going to quick hit stop and snap a picture of this for I was gonna say for the gram. I mean, I post on Instagram, but not really for the gram. You know, if you guys want to know what the next video is for, oh wait, is that Snap-on? Is that a new Snap-on box there? Maybe. Well, if you're interested in tools, or you know, maybe you want to see the latest thing I picked up, you know, check in for the next video. Peace.